Good evening and welcome to the show, Influencers Get Real. I'm your host, Christopher Marston with Exemplar, and today we have Jillian Sommerfeld.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
And her handle is at Jillian Love Your Body.
Yes, it is.
For those who don't know what a handle is.
A handle is your name on Instagram, or personality in a sense. So mine is at Jillian Love Your Body, and you could pick any type of handle that you want.
So get a grip and dial in.
Get a grip and get on Instagram.
Love it, love it. Okay, we're doing this.
We are.
So Love Your Body. So as an influencer, I take it that has something to do with wellness, body.
Yes, it's difficult for me to call myself an influencer. I definitely see myself. It started on that journey. I definitely was on that path of becoming an influencer in a sense. And then I found, I started telling my story live on Instagram, and that's kind of how I got my followers. And
interesting.
Yeah, it has to do with wellness. Everything that I do leads into holistic healing from the root, showcasing different holistic brands, alternative medicine, functional medicine, teaching people about food and moods and just really, self-care in a sense.
So you were doing like a lot of people do, because I see a lot on YouTube, by the way, of videos of people just talking about physical stuff they're going through, or there's emotional or physical, and they're sharing their stories. Was that was what you were doing?
Yeah, that's kind of how it started. I started sharing my authentic story. I was existing kind of in this toxic world, and I realized none of it really was who I was as a person. And then I started kind of digging deep and realizing different things about myself and cutting certain people out and cutting certain things out of my life.
Wait, ghosting? I'm done with you?
Yes.
They were toxic people?
In a way, it just was a world that I didn't want to exist in. I was I want to be doing more with my life.
Okay. So we need to drink more, by the way. We need to
okay.
remember to drink, because we got the 23-year-old Cabernet,
Ooh.
Kendall Jackson Reserve, so we're going to love it.
Oh,
okay?
I love it that it's Kendall Jackson.
It'll love your body,
yes,
I promise.
It will. Balance, everybody.
Yummy.
Yum, that's delicious. That is a really good wine.
It's smooth.
I really like it. That is smooth. Ooh.
Love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for enjoying. I never drink alone, so that's
good.
a good sign.
That's a really good sign.
Just putting it out there. Just putting it out there.
Really, really good sign.
So you were saying that we had a journey that you were reporting on. But what's okay, everybody's operating in a toxic world and they're not telling their story. So what's your story? What started?
Well, what is my story?
Yeah, well, I know the Italian part. So you're eating a lot of pasta.
Yes.
So what's going on?
I come from a family, my dad's side of the family, they own a functional medicine laboratory. I've always been in healthcare. My mom's side of the family, creatives. My mom came from, my grandma was a dancer, my grandpa was a singer, super creative. My dad's side, scientist, professor, very brain. So left, right brain. I always existed in the creative realm.
Okay.
I danced my whole life. I'm a trained dancer. I did a music video.
We both did ballroom dancing,
yes,
didn't we?
Yes,
That's
we did do ballroom dancing.
Right.
We connected on that.
I love it.
Yeah, so I did ballroom dancing for a little bit. I always had that creative side in my life. And then when you're in the creative realm, it's so easy to fall into different types of things. So I analyzed and observed those types of things and the track that I was going down, and I decided I wanted to do more with my life, and I wanted to start challenging myself more. So I decided to do a full lifestyle change, and that meant diving into more of my dad's side of the family, the health and wellness side of the family. So I was...
so you had too much one side of the brain going on, basically?
Yeah, one side of the brain was going on, and I needed...
time to tap into pops for a while?
I wanted to do that. Okay. I wanted to tap into my wellness side. I wanted to dive more into that, because I always found interest in wellness. I always enjoyed eating healthy. I always enjoyed...
But how old were you? When did it start?
26.
Okay, so you were 26. You were 26. That's when you start to love your dad again, kind of you're out of
there. Okay, love my parents again. Right, I was this is great. Right. And I started making changes. I just started analyzing my friends, looking at what I was surrounding myself with, my environment. I started creating goals understanding my passions. I was doing a lot of journaling, and I was doing it live on Instagram.
But what was the impetus? Like, was there an impetus, or like, was it just a culmination of things? Or?
It was a combination of things.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just a whole combination of things. It was just a whole slew of stuff that was going on. I was in a relationship.
Boys.
Yes, boys. It was your typical.
Always boys.
It was your typical story. Yeah. So it was like a really not so good relationship. Just made me realize things about myself that I wanted to change. So the whole thing. So I started a wellness company called Love Your Body, Feed Your Soul. And in a way, that was the thing that got me out of that world, because I hyper-focused on that. And I was constantly asking myself every day, like, what are you doing that's loving your body? What are you doing that's feeding your soul? And every time I got a client, well, I was speaking to them and asking them those questions and helping them, guiding them through their own lifestyle change. I also was changing myself. So it was this like mirror reflection thing, and I was doing it live on Instagram.
So you put it out there, like you were just putting
out there.
Like, so you, because like we weren't born experts, but at some point you wake up and you say, "This is what I'm doing."
Yes.
And you literally journaled it live, like you said, "This is my journey."
Yes.
And
tears, happiness, everything.
Wow.
Everything.
The
like
real you.
100% vulnerable. I tried to dabble in the YouTube thing, but the filming, I couldn't keep up with the filming, and I don't like editing. Editing was one thing that I just like.
So live stream, completely raw.
100%.
Were there tears?
Oh yeah, there were tons of tears.
Okay.
Tons of tears. I got a lot of outreach from people just thanking me for sharing my story, which was exciting. I called my audience like my emotional warriors, because a lot of the stuff that I did do, I talked about, mental illness, suicide, stuff that people don't usually
don't talk about.
Talk about. I did cut out alcohol from my life for about 2.5 years.
Welcome back.
Now I look at it, it's like you do the work, you do the understanding as to why you make the choices that you do, and then it's easier to bring stuff back in.
Well, you would get this from your dancing days, right? Because you got to find center first.
Yes.
And then you could figure out how to vary from center. But like, people come in like in the law context, there's always like, there's trial and jury, and like how you, like people don't think that they have like tics. They have tics.
Oh yeah.
Like verbal and nonverbal tics.
Yes.
And they don't realize like what messages those send, or they're not centered.
Exactly.
From one way or another. So you got to find center before you can vary from it. So
exactly. And it's by living in both extremes. So I lived in an extreme of like, this world that wasn't really me. I call it toxic. Majority of people live their life that way. Like they're okay going to the bars every night. They're okay, They
want to swing from the chandelier.
And they're okay with that, and that's fine. Yeah. Do you. For me, I was like, wow, this is not, I actually felt like I was dying. That's how I would explain it to family members, to my grandma especially. I like remember the day I called my grandma, and I did this live on Instagram, and I was like, I'm like, I feel like I'm dying. Like, I feel like I need to change my life. And so I started doing that. Ruthlessly.
So when you set out to do this, you clearly didn't say, I'm going to be an influencer and I'm going to start by crying on Instagram, right?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
So at some point, like, first of all, what kept you going live? Was there something about the interaction, about being live, that kept you going?
Yeah. People were changing their lives alongside with me.
They were.
Yeah. So I was helping people heal through my own healing. So that's like that's what made me.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you weren't coming from a place of authority. You were coming from a place of a peer.
Yes. Yeah.
And yet you were getting people to change.
Yeah. And that was the
crazy.
cool part. That was like the most rewarding part. And the people I talked to and the conversations I had, it's like a sense of community. Like you don't feel alone, I guess, because we all go through moments and we all go through life changes. And for some reason, we're meant to believe that it's this catastrophic thing, and like, oh, you should go to therapy, or oh, maybe you need to be on prescription medication, when in reality, you're just going through a hard time. And if you have a connection with somebody who also is going through a hard time, you realize how normal it is. And it doesn't make you this like weird person to be having these thoughts of being lost, because there's always a time in your life that you do feel lost, and tapping into yourself to find that guidance and then sharing it.
So how did you feel when you, I mean, it seems to me, if I could characterize it, you were like, you discovered that by being real, just real, that you were actually other people's light in a moment where you needed it.
Yes. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And that was like the most, that was it for me.
Well, cheers to that,
Thank
right?
you.
Because, I mean, it starts like you touch people's lives, right? That's amazing.
And that's like, and by doing that, then all of a sudden I found myself on this journey, because by doing it, you come up with your mission. And like my mission was, I want to change the face of healthcare. I want to change the stigma around mental health. I want people to know that like, you're okay. It's life. Like, you can't have light without darkness.
Yeah.
So I kept on going and I kept on sharing my story, and I actually created a program called the Clarity Program, which was a food sensitivity kit and then a series of questions.
Let me interrupt you before we go there, because I want to unpack this a little bit, because you shared. Let's unpack it. Like, I wish, I feel like Carrot Top. We're gonna get the bag. Yes. All right, get the bag. Yeah. Who knows what's coming out? Yeah. Look, you said there was a lot of things, health and wellness. There's a lot of areas of health.
Oh yeah.
And you touched on mental, like foods. I mean, all kinds of stuff. But for those who didn't experience your entire journey, like what was all of that about for you? Was it mental? Was it physical? Was it food? Was it like alcohol? Was it bars? Was it lifestyle?
Getting my life back, controlling my life. Like, that was what I felt, so out of control and so out of
But how
body.
did that manifest?
My relationship, because I loved somebody so much.
It was boys.
Yeah, and
Okay,
I was constant, as a lot, we live in
common, yeah.
It's life. Like, where a lot of women go through this, where they are raised in an atmosphere, and also in society, we are taught in a way to cater to the male, which isn't a bad thing, but you have to find the right fit and the right person. And the only way you find that is by dating the wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of no's, it's
before you get the yes.
There's a saying, one no closer to a yes.
Exactly.
You only need one yes, by the way. So it's like,
And it wasn't that we didn't love each other. It was the fact that we were just in different places in our lives. And because of that, I was able to create my career. So I look at that situation and I'm like, as much as that was like so chaotic, and
let's get a spiritual element to it. It's
I found my spirituality through it. I found myself.
Yeah.
And that was something that I was so detached from, and I didn't even realize it. Until I started like discovering and being like, wait a second, what's the easiest thing I could do to get my control? Oh, my foods, what I eat, what I put in my body. I can control that. That's something I can do. So I started doing that, and then I started teaching people about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So at what point did it turn into? Was there a point at which you realized there was a label for it, and it was an influencer, or that you had a business, or it became a business?
When I got on the news, that was I got on the news.
Is that the show I saw?
Yeah, both. Okay. I was on one in Sacramento and then one in Vegas, which was cool. I was really proud of the one in Vegas, because Vegas is such a heavy place. So the fact that I got to say those things on TV, in people's homes, to people that do live in Las Vegas, it was something that I thought was really important. And it did get a lot of traction, and people, they knew who I was, and they thanked me for it, because there's a lot of vices. There's a lot of good in Vegas, but there's also a lot of vices. Yeah. So I was able to reach a lot of people. So that one was really excited. That's when I knew I was onto something. When people were like, will you come on my new show? I was like, yeah. And then one of the newscasters, she was an Emmy Award winning newscaster. And she said that news anchor, she called me a positive life activist. So that's kind of how I got my title. So that was the moment where I was like, oh, okay, so yeah. So then I was Jillian Love Your Body, positive life activist.
I love it.
Yeah.
They called it out, like they just they named it.
Yeah, they named it. I didn't name it.
And you're like,
I was just me.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like they just put a name on it. Got it.
And I was okay with it. I sat there, and when she said it, she's like, Jillian Sommerfeld, positive living activist, and I just was like, yeah. You have that moment of like, okay, I can do this. I can own this.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
That's great. Well, sometimes
take it and
people
run with it.
sometimes people can bottle it better than you can.
Yeah,
You know?
because you can't name yourself. For me, I was just being me.
Yeah.
That's what I was, just being me. I was just showing up, you know, and identifying things that needed help or healing or showing compassion and love and just greeting situations with positivity.
So what is the nature of the stuff you're doing? I mean, is it?
It's evolved since then. That was like in 2016, and since then I've built out a wellness center, which was the biggest accomplishment of my life. It was called Human Garage, and we did a 360 approach to wellness. I've worked with biohackers.
Well, Human Garage was a big success, wasn't it?
Yes.
I mean, it was in Venice, California?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
But when you entered that, you turned it into a big operation, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Well, the team did. We did. The team that was built, you don't get anywhere unless you have a solid team. You have to... Teamwork makes the dream work. And when I walked into Human Garage, it was this small place. They had about 4 beds. It was above a Bikram studio. And I just walked in and sold myself. I was just like, you know, fresh out of the gate. Like, hi, my name's Jillian. I am a positive life activist. And they're just sitting there like, sure, like, come join the team. And I observed for about 2 months, like kind of like a fly on the wall, and digested everything. And then I just hit the ground running. And it was, you know, influencers that are on it. Like, for me, as I said, I don't like to necessarily call myself an influencer.
How many is it followers, subscribers?
I'm like 6,500 and something, you know, but
there's a quality thing though, right?
And they're all quality, and that's what a lot of good, like, top name wellness people follow me. So
I know, like, how do you know, by the way, because they all operate on handles, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you know? Is just because you can go look at their handle and tell, like, who it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they have their handles and their names. And the majority of the people that follow me, I worked with at Human Garage. So, yeah, or their people see that I was associated with it, and associated with those people, so then they follow me. As I said, I did do a music video, and like that has 1 million views. So, you know, it all filters in. So everything that I have is organic.
Yeah.
It's just a game.
So Jillian, how do you get on in the world? Like, how does an influencer? Because you're here, you're on the show for a reason. Yeah, we found you.
Yes, you did.
What a gem! What a gem!
Thank you.
So you're obviously, it means something though.
It means, I mean, what I do every day means the world to me. Like, putting myself out there to connect with humans and to help inspire them to live a better life is like my mission. Like, being positive and happy. And understanding that there is negative downsides too. It's not like I walk around like in this blissful state 24/7, because that's delusion in a sense. I just know how to cope with the negative in order to transform it into a positive. And the thing that brought me to you guys obviously was divine timing and synchronicity, because when you're existing in this space and you're a creative and you're doing so much output, it's very difficult to focus on the back end. So for me, I'm not business savvy. There's, I can do business. Yeah. And when I say business savvy, I'm not an attorney. I'm not a CPA. I'm not any of those things. Can I do QuickBooks? Of course I can. Can I, you know, like, but is that necessarily, I want somebody to support that part of so I can focus on my mission. Yeah. That's what it is. It's like I want to focus on my mission more. So
how has that evolved, right? Because you don't notice that gap until you become a business person. Yeah. At some point, then you realize what you if you're lucky, you know what you don't know.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't know what they don't know, and that's a whole other thing.
Oh,
but influencer traditionally has meant, you know, there's economics in being influential. Yeah. Distinctive from being a business person. So tell me about, like, did that evolve? Were you economizing being an influencer at some point?
Yeah. I mean, I work with different brands as, like, people send me their products. Right. I build campaigns around them. They pay me. Yeah.
And then you talk about it online.
Yes, and then I talk about it online. Yes,
you share your experience.
I share my experience.
So you're the crash test dummy for some other else's product, right? I have a rash, right?
Like, oh, here we go. And I'm live showing you that I have a rash.
Exactly.
No, I mean, no, all of the products that I do utilize have been vetted. So it's like these are people, but these are people, I just don't work with anybody. So that's another thing that sets me aside from other influencers is the fact that I only work with quality products. I work with people that I'm actually doing their brand strategy. So when I get these products, it's them.
I got it. Yeah. So you're not. So what you're saying is that there's influencers though that do, like, they get a product, they talk about it online, and that's it, right?
And they don't even know what they're talking about.
Well, okay, where they try it for a thing, and then they are influencing. But what you're saying with a smirk is like, okay, you're not doing doodles for them, like you didn't dig into it, you're not spending time to really know, and so you've diligenced it is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, these are all brands that I have met the owners, I know their why, I understand their passion. They're only products that I would put on my body and then love because I love my body and then show to other people. I would never give or promote a product unless it was quality, top notch.
But you just make a distinction there between you and others. So are you saying other influencers? Look at that face. It's the face of other.
Well,
not all
real.
influencers are created equal around.
Yeah, I mean,
influencing.
that's the thing that's very frustrating to me is because I obviously am on Instagram a lot, and I see these influencers doing 6 different wellness regimens in 1 week, and I'm thinking, and for somebody that's been in the wellness space. I'm going, what you're doing.
You did 6 different, 6-week regimens conflicting with each other. And
I'm like, how could you be doing keto, paleo, and taking this supplement? And when you're in
because they're suicidal.
Well, they're not, it's not being aware of it because what they're looking at is just getting the product. They're so excited and this product might have X, Y, and Z followers. So it's building their following, but they're not being conscious of the media and the content that they're putting out to the world. And that's the thing with influencers. I think they need to be more mindful about what they're putting out and not necessarily thinking about their own gain. And that's what the issue is.
Okay, so maybe you're in a narrow category of conscious influencers or whatever, right?
Yes.
Because you're caring about the why of the brand that you're talking about. All of that's deeper stuff, right?
Oh, yes. And I think everybody should be like that. You should be very mindful about what you're putting on your body, in your body, and what you're telling other people to do.
But that's what you're about.
Yes.
So can't influencers, can't viewers of influencers tell the difference?
No. How? Some people can, some people can't.
Why not?
It's all the levels. It's the levels of how people understand things.
But
I didn't understand it.
So don't people know what authenticity looks like? I mean,
it's not authenticity to them. Everybody has their own lens.
Okay.
Everybody has their own lens. So it's up to the person who's doing it. If you're going to take on the responsibility of talking to an audience of, I even say an audience of over 500 people, you should be mindful of what you're putting out there. You should be mindful of what you're influencing people to do because you're showing 500 people what you're doing in your life. And it should be influential if you are an influencer. So it should be something of the positive mindset. What's happening is people are just conforming into this one form of human and pumping out things that are making other people feel like they're not good enough because they're not living the life. It's very ego driven. And for me it's not that. For me it's this isn't about me per se. This is about you, and I'm just showing you. I'm hoping to inspire you through my authentic journey. Through just my day-to-day. I use these essential oils. Everything I do, it comes from a standpoint of literally me. That's how I live my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to pivot into the industry generally. Well, not now, but we're going to do it. Yeah. Talk about that. So right now, let's talk about you.
Okay.
No. Let's keep it with you.
Yay.
So tell us what are you working with? What's going on here?
These are essential oils. So this is a brand that I've been working with. I actually found this guy at Human Garage. So this was somebody I worked with, and I love him. His name is Dr. Nick Berry, and he has a very interesting story. He was a pharmacist, I believe, and he decided to switch his whole career and start making essential oils, high frequency vibration essential oils that come from the purest pure of everything. These are like the purest essential oils that you could get, and I utilize these in my day to day. And he sent this to me right when COVID hit, because this is an immune boosting set.
Right.
So while people don't necessarily know what to do during this time, there are, natural remedies that you could be doing just to build up your immunity. It's very simple. We have bodies.
Yeah.
These are things that you could do every day. You could put them in a vapor, like a, what are they called? A dehumidifier.
Yeah.
You could put them in your tea.
Sure.
Yeah, breathe them in when you take a shower, whatever. You're just inhaling it, and it's, building up your immunity, and it gives you a peace of mind. So he sent me these, and I have so many of his essential oils. It's like, I do, and he's a good human, and that's another thing. You know who's touching it and who's giving it to you, and you know that they care. So so this is somebody I work with.
Is that all of these here?
Yeah, these are the immune boosting set.
That's great.
Yeah. Wow.
So what do you do? What are you doing for them when you're helping them?
Just using them and talking about them, and using them on my Instagram live, showing people how I utilize them. I do implement them into different wellness centers and anywhere I go, because I use them, and people will be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "This is my routine," and then I share the information.
Right. Is all of it good? Like, have you ever had stuff that's kind of like, eh?
Yeah. Yes, I have. This one brand sent me like $400 worth of protein, or collagen.
Oh,
It was a collagen brand. And I just read where it was from. The packaging was all plastic. It just was like this. I looked at it. I tried it because I had to live.
Right.
I wanted to. I should say I wanted to. And it wasn't the best. It made me instantly tired. I have a super sensitive body. And I just was not into it. And it was live.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying it.
We have a great client called the Human Beauty Movement that's all about inner beauty. She came from the CEO came from the cosmetics industry. She's amazing. And she found that so much stuff out there has parabens and other stuff in it. That's there's so much research on this stuff that's, you can just tell what's good and what's bad. And if only people read the label, they'll realize stuff's not changing quick. So you've met us a month or two ago.
Yes.
And we just the minute we connected, I mean, you're a personality, which is great. And I'm a personality, which is not what we're here to do, but it's cool. We have a lot of fun.
Yes, we do.
You learned about Exemplar. So what do you think?
I think it's great. I'm really excited about it. I instantly got a good connection with you, like what we were saying. Everything is very positive. It is supported, which is very exciting. I feel supported. Yeah. I feel like I can trust you. I feel safe, protected. Yeah. Anything I need on the back end side, I feel like I'm just under an umbrella. That's what I feel like. I feel like I'm under an umbrella. Whatever I need will be taken care of. If I have any questions for legal, tax, anything. That's what I think a lot of influencers need.
Yeah.
Because we're just out here doing things. We're not necessarily thinking about the back end. So from meeting you, it was like a blessing. It really was divine timing. I was like, oh my God, I need something like this. I need this in my life.
So how do you know, how did that happen? Because my understanding of influencers are, you're just out there talking about products, and it's that simple. Yeah. So if you're selling other people's products, then why do you need a back end?
Well, I want to go bigger. That was my whole thing. It was I want bigger. I want an enterprise. So if I want an enterprise, that means you have to have things set up properly. And when you keep on going in the same cycle, and you're doing the same thing, you get kind of bored. For me, I was all right, how many more times? Okay, I got the products, I got the photos.
You're doing the thing, test the products, talk about it, get a rash, show everybody, right?
I got the brand strategy. Then I started turning it into more of a business where I was I actually know how to get these things to market. I actually have these connections. And that happened when I did Human Garage. That kind of was my turning point where I saw like, oh, I can scale a business. Like I actually know how to scale something. I actually know how to hit metrics, but I want to do it for myself.
Okay, so Jillian, this is an interesting thing, right? Because a lot of influencers are just, they start with monetizing, selling other people's stuff. Like they get paid for shout outs. They're paid bullhorns in a way, right? And what you're saying is though, because I was thinking one pathway, right, is that at some point you get sick of pitching other people's product and you develop a product.
Yeah.
But what you're actually saying is, though, you also have developed skill sets to consult independently or start a business that is not necessarily the business of the influencer. It's also just in addition to.
Yeah.
So you're becoming an entrepreneur.
Yes. Yes, and I love it. And that's where I want to be because I really enjoy lifting people up and seeing their passions come to life through their authenticity. That's what I inspire people to do because when you connect and you state your mission, I want to change the face of healthcare. That's not something that you do on your own. That's not something like I can sit there and trailblaze through, but the way that you make a difference is when you reach the community and you start inspiring all these different products to lead in a more positive way. So I was like, okay, I could sit here and create my own product, which I'm actually in like the works of doing. I'm like creating 3 products right now. But it's not me. Like I'm creating products for like the community. And then I'm also observing all these other products and helping them come with me in the movement to change the face of healthcare. Because what am I? I'm one person.
Right.
If I could inspire many.
So it seems like what you were saying is it's like a revolution by inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, because I can't do it alone. It's about reaching out to the community. It's about inspiring each product that's with me to come along with me because that's how you make movement. You can't do it alone. That's like it's not about me. It's about all of us. It's about all of us going together.
Seems like there's a different ethos in the generation that we have now from the baby boomer generation, which tends to be like sort of a zero-sum game.
Yes, it's all about the me, the I, when we're about the we together, which wellness, you know.
Got it, okay, wellness, got it. Nice, very nice, very nice. Playing words.
Yeah.
All right. Well, who are your inspirations?
Well, my grandma.
Okay. Tell me about graham crackers. I call my grandma graham crackers.
Tell me about your graham crackers.
You gotta drink a little bit with me. You're
will.
way behind. You're way behind.
I am. Okay.
You can gulp. It's fine.
Now that I'm drinking again.
Drinking. I
had to do a reset. You got to do a reset sometimes.
It's good. Resets are great. I do wine resets.
Oh, I reset with wine. I reset with wine.
Right.
I had so much clarity when I cut out alcohol. Okay. I was like, oh my God, I'm a whole different human.
But you're Italian and aged wine. It goes
it's amazing.
It goes with your genes.
It does.
I'm just saying.
Goes with my whole existence.
It's fine.
It does. Like a part of me died a little bit when I was like, I'm not drinking anymore. But then a part of me lived, and I was like, okay, so now that part of me lives with the wine.
There you go.
Grandma, both my grandmas, on my mom's side and my dad's side, absolutely amazing, still alive, kicking, thriving. Yeah.
Nice. Feisty?
Feisty as duh.
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just like you.
Yes.
She is.
Very, very feisty. They just know what they want. They've worked very hard their whole life, raised amazing families. My grandma on my dad's side, she was in the wellness space. So
really?
Yeah, she worked alongside my grandpa. He was a scientist and a professor. And then there's my dad. My dad's a businessman, so he's like one of my mentors. We have a very close relationship. I talk to him every single day. He guides me through a lot of my business ventures just because he's existed in the peaks and valleys. And when I say valleys, I mean valleys. And it's things that people don't go through in a lifetime.
So
and he went through them.
Tell me. Yeah. I'm a dad. I got 2 little daughters. They're daddy's little girls. I'm in love.
Yeah.
So what's the secret to having a daughter at your age that just loves her dad so much?
And just you gotta ebb and flow with it.
What does that mean?
ebb and flow and support
Give them the manual. Guys don't get the manual when the girls are born. Like, you got to give me the manual. What is it?
Support them in where they're at.
Yeah.
You know?
What does that mean? Listening?
Hear them. Listen to them. Encourage them to utilize their voice. That's like really important for them to speak and say what they want and say what they need. That was one thing. My mom did this to me too. My mom and my dad both always challenged me to use my voice, and I think that's why I am so outspoken and why I do stand very strong in myself. And it hasn't always looked like this at all.
No doubt. We've evolved, right?
Exactly. You evolve.
You go to center and
yeah. So when your daughters, if you're lucky, yeah. So as your daughters ebb and flow, just support them through each thing, you know, and listen to them. Like, have the conversations. Conversations are huge. Having those open conversations, asking them how they're doing, allowing them to express their emotions, because that's a very important thing, and just understanding, having understanding, because it is. Being a female is, I mean, as I'm sure, I go through this a lot because I talk about this a lot on my Instagram, and I have a lot of men reach out to me and they'll be like, it's difficult being men too. But I only know from being a female, because that's the world I exist in. And it is difficult out there.
So you have men saying it's difficult being men?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Isn't
that cute?
That's cute.
That's what I always, a little bit, I look a little sideways in it, and I'm just like, you have no idea. You have no, and it's beautiful. I love being a female. I absolutely.
It's not, it's not an easy existence for everybody, so you can't say it's a masculine or feminine thing, but I never heard of a man saying it's difficult being male.
Oh, yeah. I have it all the time.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, I need to be more sensitive and appreciate male sensitivity to being, just the challenges of that. But that's great.
Yeah. I mean, I see a flip in it. I definitely see there's a lot of balance happening where men are seeing female differently, female are seeing men differently, and I just voice it more. Because I speak from my authentic truth. So.
Are your parents together?
No, they're separated.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But you clearly had a strong presence of both in your family, in your life?
Yes. Yeah.
And because, I look at you as somebody who definitely had the influence of both and respect the balance of that. Mm-hmm. And it influenced you. It carved the canyon, right?
It sure did.
Who you are.
My mom and my dad are my influencers, and same with my grandmas. That's what I always tell people.
My grandma's had more influence on me than my own mother.
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
even today, some of the things she ingrained in me growing up are like, you remember.
So your daughters will be just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. If not, they're going to be amazing because you're amazing. I already know that. That's why I feel comfortable.
Thanks.
Yeah. The whole. I mean. Yeah.
I had to Google how many times you could kiss your daughters.
Yeah.
Well, because it's like 100 times too much. Or, how many times is too much? Apparently, there's no limit.
No.
You can just love on your daughters, and they can soak it right up.
Exactly,
so,
and the more love you give
best
them,
thing
the
I
better.
heard.
Yeah.
And now they're not jealous of each other.
Yep.
Because they just there's a saturation point. Like if you just love them enough, they won't be jealous. They'll be like, go kiss her a little bit, will you?
The equalizer. It's the equalizer.
You got it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So yeah.
Well, there's nothing, from a father's perspective, I can tell you there's no greater joy in life, especially if you're a guy out there reading, watching this, than having little girls. Mm-hmm. There just isn't.
Yeah.
Just like your life will change. I know you haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't know kids. I've been a daughter, and I know I was not easy, that's for sure, but they raised me to be that way. They raised me to fight for what I believe in and always do what's best authentically for me. And that, luckily enough was motivating and inspiring other people. Go figure. So they did something right.
So it seems like you found your purpose, though. You're very clear about what you're here to do.
Mm-hmm. And whatever it looks like, I ride the ride.
So what do you attribute it to? You found, okay, we can use analogies, dancing, whatever you want to use. But the point is that there seems to be a theme, at least we're noticing. I mean, we represent revolutionaries, game changers, and impact businesses. We have a spiritual bottom line in addition to our triple bottom line. So it's a quad bottom line. And that's part of that's about living your purpose. And you have to know your purpose to live it. And I think you and I both know that many people are lost.
Yes.
But there is a movement towards waking up and not just being miserable. Mm-hmm. And many people have grown up with families and they're rich and miserable. And
Yes.
they don't want that.
Money does not make you happy.
Yeah.
Money does not make you happy. Money does not make you whole.
But it's baffling to our parents' generation, to
Yes.
some of the younger people that are choosing purpose over profit.
Yes. 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 It is 100%. I do post about this.
It's bad. Like, they
all
don't
the
get
time.
it.
Yeah,
They don't get
I
it.
always say, I look and I go purpose over profit.
And they seem
Moral over money every time.
and it seems like the next generation to them is lost because they're like wandering, trying to find not purpose because maybe they believe they've found it, but they're actually trying to find a way to make a living, not compromising purpose.
Yes.
And they're finding their way, or they're little by little, fast or slow. The point is that they're not compromising what's in the heart.
Yeah, trusting their inner voice. That's
Yeah.
why it's very difficult for the older generation to understand that, because they were, it was, I don't.
Were your parents first generation?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, they weren't.
They,
But your dad's an entrepreneur.
yes.
So you have entrepreneurs in the family.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And my mom's an artist.
Okay, I got it.
She's like a mom. She's like a mom. That was her role. Was like.
But there was an element of like the Maslow's hierarchy. My mom's side of the family came here first generation. So on my
Okay.
mom's side, I'm first generation, and they had to work their butt off.
Yep.
They came from another country. They didn't speak the language. They had to learn the language. My grandfather was a doctor, but he like didn't speak English, so he had to like learn the language and then take a medical exam, and then like the stuff they went through, like we can't even like
imagine.
we don't touch it, right?
Yes, it's like we won't talk about it.
don't
We
even,
get
like,
it. We love you.
Love you. You paved the road. I drive on that road. It's amazing.
Exactly.
And when there's a saying, there's a saying about like there's something about the work ethic of that generation that afforded us the right to even find purpose.
Yes, because now we could put that work ethic towards our purpose. And that's what I look at my parents and my grandparents, and I thank them. I thank my grandma every single time I talk on the phone with her, and same with my dad and my mom. I thank them for everything that they did, because they taught me work ethic, which now I can put into my purpose and passion, which is very important. You can't just, I'm just living my purpose and passion, and not like understand that there's, you have to make money to live, and you have to monetize your life, and you have to do that. You got to figure that out. So it's strategy, it's understanding business, it's stepping into that, it's educating yourself, it's it's taking all of those lessons and putting them into your purpose. That's what you got to do. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're young. I mean, you're not even. I don't know. I didn't ask, which makes me a good man. You don't ask. You don't ask a lady. You look like you're 20. I'm just saying.
Thank you.
All
I take care of myself.
You love your body.
I love my body, and I feed my soul.
I
am 32 years old. Yes.
And many people are still like they're waking up at 55, wondering what they did their whole life. And so, well, congratulations to like finding it. I hope you stay the path, right?
Oh, I can't. I have no other choice. I already started.
Isn't that the definition of calling?
Yeah.
I mean, that like this is where you need to be, and that like comes from a source.
Yes.
And
if I'm out of alignment, I feel it.
Yeah.
And it is like pure chaos, and that's what. And people could mistaken it for anxiety or this anger and all this stuff, and it's like that's not what it is. It means you're out of alignment from what you're supposed to be doing in your life. So your body energetically is resisting that world.
So don't people go into like? So don't people just think that's the way life is?
Yes.
And they go into like whack-a-mole programs of like medical whack-a-mole, like taking drugs and like this and that for this.
Yes, but in reality,
it's just about alignment and purpose.
It's aligning up with your purpose. And being okay with what the outcome's going to be. You got to trust the outcome and trust yourself. And whatever it is you get. And that's your life.
So not to get all spiritual on you or anything, but we are talking about this. So we do have a spiritual bottom line.
Yes.
So like, I've watched this because Exemplar is like what I'm here to do. And I knew that. Like, it's a calling for me. And when if you're lucky enough to find that, you watch the seas part to make shit happen.
Oh, yes, you do.
And
yes, you do.
There's no like other signal in the world that there's something else going on. Like that there's something going on. Like there's some power that says they're giving you the sign that this is where you need to be. And like you can't ever turn back because you know what that looks like. You can't unsee it.
No, you cannot.
And it's an interesting thing. It's very difficult to describe to people unless you've seen it.
And unless you've gone through it.
Yeah.
You've gone through it. It's like each time I set on a new journey, because it's never ending.
Yeah.
The mission doesn't end. It just looks different.
But Jillian, we're talking about teens and suicide. We're earlier about people who are identifying, they get problems.
Oh, yeah.
But we've got equal problems that we're hearing about, like people on Facebook and Instagram, like feeling their self-esteem is tied into how many likes they get on something. And like, so you had the courage to step out and be vulnerable and be real. You could have got absolutely destroyed by the mob.
Yeah.
You could have been like a Momo challenge kid or something like it, or whatever that was, right? You know? And
that made me very upset. The Momo
that's pretty.
challenge.
I think just looking at the picture is pretty upsetting.
Like,
but anyway,
who would even think of this?
That's
Who
ridiculous.
does that?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
The world we live in.
Yeah. But so there's something to that of you decided to get vulnerable. It takes a lot of courage to get real in an environment where that could have destroyed you or somebody in a similarly situated, already vulnerable, sharing that online. So what do you say about, like, is it right to do that? How do you know if that's right to do that? It can't be right for everybody, Jillian.
No, it's not. It's not. It takes a certain person.
So you need a little spice. You need some paprika or something in your pants.
Oh, yeah. You
need some Mexican jumping. You need some Mexican jumping beans in there.
I had all of that. Like I was determined because I just identified something that was not right. I felt something that I thought needed to change, and I thought, okay, what's the best way to do this?
Let's broadcast it to the world in real time, like as I'm going through it.
Yeah. Yep.
Crazy town.
So I did it, and I don't regret it. It was all worth it. And there were definitely times of difficult conversations.
With yourself?
Yeah.
On the screen?
Hang on really quickly 1 second. I need to go on my Instagram.
Yeah, let's do it.
There we go. Just an Instagram thing. Sorry.
It's an Instagram.
So we are live. This is what it is. Instagram.
Welcome back, yo.
Yes. Okay,
all right, are people still awake?
Yeah, they're still awake.
They're still awake. So wait, we were talking about this. So, like, how do you... Yeah, you just had the courage to go, like, put it all out there, vulnerable.
Everything.
Yeah, but, like, how do you know that's going to turn out well? I mean,
You don't, but for whatever reason, I didn't care. I didn't.
You didn't care?
No, I didn't care if it turned out well or not because that was just what I was drawn to do. That was just what I was drawn to do. So whatever the outcome of it was, I was okay with. My intuition was telling me, this is what you need to do. So I did it. And trust me, there were very difficult conversations because I had a lot.
With yourself?
No. Well, yeah.
Like on the screen, you're live, it's me.
Yes.
Talking
you're
like in the mirror,
to
right?
Yourself.
Right.
That is the weirdest thing when you realize that.
Yeah.
But there are people on the other side. They are watching. There's
what about, trolls, mob. Were there trolls back then?
I had trolls.
Okay.
I still have trolls.
Okay.
Not as many.
Okay.
Not as many. When I first started, I did.
Well, the trolls were the only people in the beginning who knew, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Now, it's all light, love, and positivity. I have so many amazing people following me. I have tons of support. Now it's kind of flipped into a different role, though. It's not so much me sharing my story as it is me on the ground floor sharing what I'm doing in the community.
Of course.
Which is cool. It was cool to see the evolution of it. So, and that was my goal. My goal was to do it enough where then I'm on the ground doing it with people and actually like connecting with people. Building out centers like that. Right. That's like the coolest thing. I can't even, the fact that I did one and now I have an opportunity. I'm doing another one right now, which is unbelievable.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I sit there and I'm like, wow, okay. And now I get to be in an even better role. Yeah. It's as I said, the mission is always the mission. The journey looks a little different each time you go through it. And you just buckle.
It's the spice of life.
It is. You buckle your seatbelt and you ride the ride. And it's not, some situations are not ideal, but they get you somewhere. Yeah. And the thing that makes it ideal is the lives that you touch and the moments of when people reach out to you and they're like, thank you so much for what you said. I felt like I was, at the end of my life, and you made me see the light.
Amazing.
And I'm like, yeah.
That's got to keep you going.
It does. It does. Yeah.
So the point at which you realize you're more a business person now or an entrepreneur, do you think that's happening with more influencers?
Yes. Yeah.
So tell me, why? Why is that going on?
Probably like for me, I just realized there was opportunity. There's so much opportunity. I have 6,000 people watching me. That's 6,000 opportunities to monetize my stuff.
Yeah.
That. Eventually, you get to a point where you're like, okay, I need to make money off of this. Because this is my path. This is what I'm doing. And I want to have a family and kids and get married.
Right.
And I want to take it to the next level.
But you also didn't want to sell out, so you've got guardrails.
Yes.
Right.
I have guardrails. I have morals. I could have sold out. I had many opportunities to sell out, and every time I said no. Every single time.
What's up with that?
It didn't line up. It didn't. I don't think I could live my life knowing that I sold out. I sold my soul in a sense to make the money.
So you found the North Star.
I found the North Star and I stuck with it. And I've been protected the whole way. So, I mean, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. As I said, it's not ideal. A lot of the times I'm living out of a suitcase. Then I find there's a portion where...
You're from Chicago.
I am.
And you're here in Los Angeles.
I am.
Fish out of water, as they say, yeah?
I mean, I was here early. I mean, I was here for 4 years prior when I was building out the first wellness center. And then went home. COVID hit. Yeah. I was called back.
Yeah.
Obviously, because COVID hit. The pandemic, which, is lots of fear, lots of stuff going on. I don't even know.
Yeah.
We could dive into it, but I don't even think... there is so much going on in the world right now.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy town.
Oh, it's crazy. It is. And it's the only thing you could do is show up and show love. And for me, I've really, I'm deep in trying to figure out some sort of preventative solution for COVID or some sort of light in it. Because it seems that nobody is providing light. But everybody has these things. I
think there's a lot of people there's a lot of people trying to come in. I see a lot of people trying to come in and do PPE and other stuff.
Yeah.
There's the challenges with that. We without going too deep into it.
Yeah.
Where, what we've got is an environment that has politicized a virus. I don't even know how you do that. But,
right?
Apparently,
I can't even...
Can't we just, love each other? The fact that we've polarized is fucked up everything in the most literal way, right? It's no matter what side you're on, we need to just love on each other right now.
Of course we do.
It's a tough time for people. Mm-hmm. And we need to be more united.
Yeah.
And politicians aren't doing it, so we need to step in and just do it.
Exactly. So that's in my mind. I'm what can I do?
Yeah.
What can I do? And it's creating content like this. It's having conversations. It's talking about the things that people don't want to talk about. It's acknowledging the fear, acknowledging the trauma, acknowledging the stuff that people are nope, everything's fine, as the flames come up behind them. It's it's not fine, but there are solutions. Here are some of the solutions. Start figuring out what you're good at. Start loving yourself. Start boosting your immunity. Don't be afraid of getting the COVID antibody test. Test yourself. Figure out if you have the antibody. Because then you could at least move forward.
You could, I'll let you in.
Yeah.
I let you in.
Exactly. I don't have it.
She doesn't. I hugged her. It's
I
safe.
don't have it. We're good.
It's good.
I took the test.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good. Everything.
Exactly.
No, okay. Too soon?
Too soon. Democrat, Republican. Democrat, Republican.
Different show.
Got it. Different show.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah. Too funny.
Well, really, it's great that you're getting into it, but you were saying more influencers are becoming entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And so, as we were talking before the show about how that's turning into more of a need for getting pro, getting your act together.
Yeah, you got to make money. What do you mean? You're going to sit here and just tell people things? No, there's a way to make money off of this, and it's actually fun.
Well, they're making money,
but they don't.
But they're not running businesses, and there's a difference. And I think that's where
they're chasing.
Yeah,
that's what I realized I was doing, and I was I don't want to do that. And then as soon as I made that mindset that I didn't want to do it, I started attracting everything. But now it's managing it.
Yeah. Well, I'm super glad we were able to help.
Yeah.
Capture it, put it into a structure, and help make it
real.
Help make it real.
Because there's so many brands.
Yeah.
And they all want me to own a portion of it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, we'll make you partial owner. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, help me develop it. And I was like, yeah, I just do things. That's what I do. I just do it. I'm like, here you go. But there's a science behind it, and there's a strategy behind the money aspect of it that I don't grasp. And as much as like my father's involved in my life with like business and stuff, a lot of my stuff is separate, and he can't grasp it because he doesn't understand Instagram. He has no clue.
Does he know what a handle is?
No.
Get a grip, Pops.
Get a grip.
Get a grip.
I had to tell
You gonna send this to him? All right, get a grip. He's gonna have a talk with me,
I hope he does.
It's great.
He's next. I started an Instagram handle for him because he's building out a business, and he brought me on, and I'm helping him develop it. And he posted something on Facebook with a photo of his logo, and it's literally like, you can't even see the logo.
Oh,
so that was the first thing I saw this morning, and I was like, oh my God. And considering the line of work that I do,
of course.
I'm like, you got to change this. So I made it for him. I'm like, here, Dad, make sure you use this graphic. And he's like, I don't even know. And then I sent him the updated Instagrams, and he's like, I don't even have an Instagram. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is going to be, it's like a learning,
amazing.
It's a thing, but it's exciting.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
We have a natural East-West pharmacy client, 5 Flavors Herbs in Northern California. Amazing people, great humans, great like East-West bulk extract, natural Eastern medicine stuff. It's really
Beautiful.
great. Yeah. So great, but great humans. Like
Give
it
him my
matters.
number.
It matters. No doubt. We didn't talk about this, but I will. You can count on it. We're connecting. Yes.
Did you see my face? I was like,
totally like, duh. Okay, yeah. The connections we make right here and right now. That's what this is about.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
I love it.
I love it.
Yes.
Jillian, this was killer.
This was amazing.
I love
Cheers.
it. Love you. Love what you're
love
doing.
you. Thank you.
Thanks for loving on people.
Of course, all day.
And being a good human.
Thank you.
And well, thanks for being on the show.
Yes.
This is Influencers Get Real with Jillian Sommerfeld, and I'm your host, Christopher Marston.
Jillian, love your body.
That's right. Have a great night.
Bye.
Talk to you soon.
Stay happy.